Wings of Glory is a war game that was originally released as Wings of War in 2004, but was later changed to the present name when it was taken over by Ares Games. There are two main versions, the First World War and the Second World War, and in this video I'm going to explain how the basic rules for the First World War version work. The game is played with 1/1/4 scale aircraft. These are pre-painted in the various schemes of the famous pilots of the war and are very nice models. Other scale models exist on the market and can easily be used, but the ones produced by Ares Games come with the movement cards and bases that are used in the game. Each aircraft has an individual card, which shows the image of the model, the manoeuvre deck the aircraft uses, the damage deck the opponent draws from when being fired at, and the amount of damage the aircraft takes. Each aircraft has a control panel that is specific to the machine. It has a space for the aircraft's card, the manoeuvre cards used in the coming turn, and a space for the damage cards. There are also spaces for the last manoeuvre reminder counter, any special damage counters. There are also spaces for the climb rate, maximum altitude of the aircraft, but this is not used in the basic game. Each aircraft has its own deck of movement cards, which govern the speed and manoeuvrability of the specific aircraft. Each turn consists of 3 phases in which the aircraft are moved according to the cards the player used. At the beginning of the turn, the player chooses 3 cards, one for each phase, and then places them face down on the control panel. All movement is simultaneous, and each player reveals the first card together. The card is placed with the movement line against the black dot on the front of the plane's base. The plane is then moved to line up with the arrow on the manoeuvre card and the base of the plane. Then the manoeuvre card is removed from play. This continues for the 3 phases of each turn. At the end of the turn, a counter is placed on the reminder area of the plane's control panel. Manoeuvres such as stalls cannot be done in consecutive phases, otherwise the stress on the aircraft will force the plane to draw a damage card. These counters are useful when you have multiple planes under your control. At the end of each phase, the aircraft can fire at one another, if possible. The measuring tool is placed at the centre point of the aircraft's base, and if it is within the frontal firing arc of the plane and touching any point on the opponent's base, then a shot can be fired. The measuring tool is marked with 2 ranges, long and short. If the opponent is at short range, then they draw 2 cards from the attacking aircraft's attack deck. If the opponent is at long range, they then draw 1 card. The amount of damage is kept secret by the opponent and placed face down on their control panel. When the amount of damage reaches or goes over the number of the damage on the aircraft's cards, then that plane is shot down and removed from the game. There are also special damages printed on the cards. This symbol means that the firing aircraft's guns have jammed. This is revealed to the player who fired, and it means that the aircraft cannot fire their guns for the next 3 phases. Some damage will jam the rudder of the aircraft being fired at, meaning that the player cannot choose a manoeuvre that turns the aircraft that way for their next turn. This is kept secret by the player who was attacked. A pilot symbol means that the pilot is injured and the plane cannot perform a stall manoeuvre. A second pilot hit means that the plane is shot down. When this card is drawn, the aircraft is smoking. This lasts for 3 turns and means that the aircraft cannot tail an opponent until the smoke clears. And this card is an engine fire. The fire lasts for 3 turns, and each turn that the aircraft is on fire, a damage card is drawn, potentially causing enough damage for the aircraft to be destroyed. And finally, this is the dreaded explosion card. This automatically destroys the aircraft being shot at. The basic game is simple to learn and fun to play, but there are plenty of extras, such as altitude rules, various missions, and many aircraft of the period are available as models, including fighters, 2-seaters, bombers, and even balloons.